Whoa, 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 whoa,
Shalom, family. This is Yehuda from YAH'S Assembly, and like we've been saying for a long time, things are starting to pick up. It would appear as if Russia and Vladimir Putin have begun the siege. Now, I'm not ruling out that this is a false flag, but if you haven't been getting ready or preparing, you doggone sure better make sure that you get it started now, because this is gonna be crazy. Because our government set up the Ukrainians, because you got our president talking about all these sanctions, and it will be swift consequences, and getting all these nations from NATO and from Europe to go ahead and put all these sanctions on Russia, then back them into a corner to where it's almost like that's the only option that they have to save face. That the only thing that they understand, or the only language that they understand, is strength. And again, so you got the Ukrainian president at different times, like really talking cash, like they really about that life, they about that action. And then as soon as Russia, I guess, starts firing off, then he wants to send a message out to the Russian, people, like we're a free country, this, we're a free country, that. But going back to my original point, our president got everybody to back him with the sanctions and this and that, really just talking out of pocket, like he really got that kind of strength. And then while this news reporting what was going out, it literally says there won't be one troop of America that actually goes over there to fight. Now, mind you, I don't think we should be in anybody's business outside of the United States. I think they should have to figure it out. Maybe that's where NATO jumps in, I guess. But, America always got to have their fingers in it, because they need a war because of what this pandemic has done to the economy. It'd be a good way to divert everyone's attention to that, instead of how they actually failed us during that time period. And man, this is wild, because the reason why he said that won't be one American troop that actually goes over there is because if you've seen a Russian soldier and an American soldier fighting each other, bleeding in blood, then that means World War III. Well, if you don't really want that, why would you really amp this man, gas this man up so much? And then you start getting these other nations to gas him up, which personally, I don't think that it's all going to happen right now. I think that there's still more time, but I could be wrong. I still think that this may be somewhat of a false flag, so we really got to pay attention to what they are saying. And not just what they're trying to show you, because they can show you pictures of bombings anywhere. That doesn't mean it was Russia, or that don't even mean that Russia even instigated. They could have be defending themselves. So let's wait before we start passing judgment on the situation, because again, we don't know what the truth is, not the facts, not doctored evidence. We don't know what the truth is at this point in time. But definitely be praying up, people. Like, this is the time, because we're still in a food shortage. We still got people trying to fight for their rights, dealing with this whole COVID-19 nonsense. So, if a war gets added to that, I'm pretty sure we're already on the verge of an economic depression. We're pretty close to the stock market crashing. And hopefully this wakes some people up, because there's a lot of people, I have a lot of conversations with people, and they literally be telling me that America cannot be beaten, our technology is too far advanced, this is and that. But where do we get the technology from? fallen angels and from the Nazi scientists, right? Operation Paperclip. But guess what? Russia did the same thing. So America only took about 1,600 of their scientists after World War II and continued their experiments and got all that technology. Well, Russia took 2,200, so they took 600 more. So, not to forget that Russia has intercontinental nuclear bomb that cannot be stopped by America. So y'all keep poking this Russian bear, and y'all gonna mess around and get the claws, because I'm telling you, you back a rabid animal into a corner. The only thing that they can do is fight back for their survival, and it's not even like a militarily thing. This is a political thing. This is an economic way, that they're trying to force Putin's hand. And I'm just like, can people not see what's really going on? It was almost because the way that the Ukrainian president was talking, in the days leading up to it was just like that, like they didn't even really need nobody. And the fact that NATO got so involved, correct me if I'm wrong, but Ukraine's not a part of NATO. So that's why the U.S. is like, yeah, y'all my ally, but we'll help you in every way that we can, but we're just not gonna send no troops. Now, mind you, again, I don't want our troops, our soldiers, in any more wars. We need to be fixing things here instead of worrying about everybody else trying to be everybody else's world police, because we're not it. And while everybody's being filled up with so much pride about America, this and that, I'm telling you, Russia and China has technology that is as advanced, and in some cases more advanced than our technology. Statistically, America is actually one of the most obese nations. That's the first point. But then even our military has become even obese. And if you think that our military is still the top level military that there were back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 60s, whatever, you're crazy. Because some of us actually joined the military, and we can see the dirt bags that are leading. Guys that can't even pass the PT test, got no business leading anybody, or just yes men, have no brain. And pride comes before a fall. It comes before a fall. And America is so puffed up that they can't even tell. Can't even see it, because anybody that knows anything has been paying attention. We've been in a trade war with China the last few years. Now, China and Russia, just had this I'll just call it a verbal treaty talking about of their bond together. Go back even further, Russia, China, and Iran have the yuan currency that no one's talking about. Russia has been making itself, how did they call it? Sanction proof. And China did not outright just go against what Russia has done. So y'all gotta pay attention, because I don't believe that if the United States gets into a war with China, it's just gonna, not China, with Russia, it's just gonna be Russia. Because there is an assembly of nations that wants this country to come to its knees. And America is just sleep enough, not woken up, just sleep enough to not even pay attention to what's happening. I mean, we got shortages, people, for real, in these stores. We got worker shortages. We got an economy to where there's really no way they can fix it. They honestly have to keep, kicking out stimulus checks or figure out some other type of way, because there's not one. The only way that they could potentially get out of this is with a war. But the thing about it is, America cannot get or become a part of the war under normal pretenses. It has to be under provocation. They have to make it look like America just has to join the fight to save face against, Russia. Because again, it's not just going to be Russia. It's going to be Russia, China, Iran. Probably some other countries are going to end up siding with them as well. And if my dad's dream from about 20 or 30 years ago has any truth to it, he said that America spread itself so thin, fighting all these countries and all these different lands, that they left the back door wide open. And he was like, he went to bed one night, and when he woke up in the dream, the next night he said that there was, I'll just say, slanted-eyed people uh, and like Russian type of people that have just completely just taken over. In other words, we didn't pay attention. They had boats, submarines, right? And it was just like you couldn't even go from street to street. Now this is a dream. So of course they're gonna go to the major cities first, and this and that. But America is not impregnable. They're not invincible. They're not undefeatable. And the time for the fall is nigh. Babylon is falling, people. Stay prayed up. Um, yeah, Father, please help us, because with the stuff that's coming, help us to be prepared. Those of us that are husbands, those of us that are wives and parents, and just even friends and family. Like, it's about to come to that time to where we got to remember the old ways and get away from so much electronics, because by the time that these nations that destroy this place are done with this place, it won't be inhabited anymore. Time is ticking, and it's not on our side. So again, this is Yehuda from YAH'S Assembly. Salam.